Hello everybody, this is my 1994 Toyota Camry. Had this car over 20 years now, probably more than that actually. I think I bought it in like 98. It's got about 180,000 miles on it, probably one of the best Camrys, Toyotas, in general cars that was ever made. The reason for this video is twofold. Recently ran into a little problem. Well, I don't know if it's a little problem, but a problem with the brakes on this car. So a few years ago, well, several years ago, my wife had a car accident and had some body damage here, and basically the suspension was damaged. I ended up replacing this steering knuckle whole piece here. Because the original one got bent in the accident. So one problem I had when I replaced this knuckle, it's probably been about 10 years ago, is a dust shield, which normally goes here, was pretty rusted. Well, recently what happened is that dust shield was just so rusted it broke off. And you can see there's nothing there left anymore. And I thought, okay, fine, no big deal. Looked it up. A lot of people drive their cars without that dust shield, and in general people said that's fine. Well, that's the first reason for this video that I want to clear up. It's not fine, because especially if you live in an area where you have dirt roads or your car's rusting or whatever, what's going to eventually happen is something's going to get between your rotor and your brakes if you don't have that cover there covering your caliper. I've taken it out here, but this is where it goes. And eventually you're going to end up with something like this. This is the rotor on the car, and you can see it's badly damaged. This is the pads on one side and this is the side where the dust shield typically protects, and you can see it's totally scored. I had given this car to my son to drive. It's gone from my wife to and then I fixed it, and it went through all my kids, and now my son is driving it, and suddenly he felt something wrong with the brakes. Go in there, and this is what I find. So no, despite what you read on the internet, it's not safe to drive without that dust shield. Yeah, you can do it on a race car if you're driving it on a track or something, but not in everyday driving. You're going to get rocks, you're going to get stones, and they're going to get in there, and you're going to end up with this, and you're going to have a worse situation of brake failure. So that's the first thing I wanted to clarify. If you lose your dust shield here, or it's damaged and you need to replace it, replace it. You'll be able to get by for a little while, but as you see here, not very long, especially if you live, if you do normal driving, I think you're gonna end up in trouble. So that's the first thing I wanted to clarify. The second thing I want to clarify here is there seemed to be very little information on how to replace that dust shield. This is a 94, as I mentioned, a 94 Camry, and you can see here these bolts. There's nothing left of this dust shield here. There's actually 4 on this Camry. And these bolts are really hard to get out. First of all, they're rusted really badly, and they're sitting behind the hub here. So I did see a couple of videos of some people trying one thing. One guy tried this tool. Let's see if I got it here to get in there, but you can see that you don't have a straight shot at getting into there, and if it's not really rusted, yeah, you might be able to undo it, but in my case I couldn't. In fact, it started stripping, and again, the whole problem is this hub is in the way. If you want to try to take this hub out, that's, I saw, as I mentioned, a video of a guy, I think it was on his Corolla. He took this hub out and he tried to get these things out, and he got a couple of them out, and then one of them or two of them he got stuck. He never finished the video, but you're really going to have to pull this hub, and that means the bearing and everything, and it's not worth it. So I started looking for, I said, hey, I'll just go replace the entire spindle assembly and the hub and everything. And yeah, you can find that at a junkyard, but the problem is nobody was going to guarantee me that they'd have a shield on it. They said, no, that's not part of it. You got to get your own shield, which really defeats the purpose, right? I'm trying to avoid all this work to take this hub off and, get a new shield in there. So that didn't work. So and I did see another video of a guy said he drilled a hole through here. You'll see that video, I think it was for a Honda, to get to these. I got 4. Well, actually you just need to drill 1 and you can turn the wheel and try to get them. But as I mentioned, these things are so badly rusted. It's a nightmare to get those out. Fortunately, I just leave things sitting till I sometimes figure them out. I use this Power Blaster several times. This is a 10mm on the Camry, but you know, good luck with trying to get that off with a socket. I couldn't get it off. What I finally did is I took a pair of vice grips here, and I think I still have them here somewhere, and just stuck them on there. And after giving it several blasts with this Power Blaster, I was able to get my vice grips on here like that. I actually got this off already, but I just want to show you. Got it on there, got it really tight, and it was amazing. It came off with this thing. And I think the reason for that is, yeah, outside they're in pretty bad shape, but inside they're relatively fine, and that's why the Power Blaster worked. So you can see if I take this off here, I'll just show you that. It's in remarkably good condition inside. In fact, I may even reuse this, just because I don't think this car, I'll have this car that much longer that I'll ever have to do another dust shield. So anyway, I took this off and I was able to get whatever little pieces were left from the old dust shield. It was literally shredded to pieces. So, and there's one more down here. Let me get that one off too. And as I said, I just used the vice grips and got it turning, and you know, and that was that. So number one, I want to let everyone know that it is possible to get these things off without getting the hub, without taking the hub off, and hopefully you'll have the same experience that I did. The second thing is you got to put a new dust shield on here. And how are you going to do that without taking the hub off? Because if you look at the dust shield, these are Dormans. These are cheap ones made in China, but I think I paid like 50-60 bucks for these for a pair. You can see there's a little you gotta take off the hub to get this on. That's really how you take the, if you look at the manual, the Toyota manual, same thing. Their instructions are you take the hub off and then you take the shield off. Well, again, the whole thing here is I didn't want to go through that whole thing with the bearing and everything, and you needed special tools to press it back in. So what I did is this. I basically just cut, you can see this is one for the other side. I just cut this off with the vice grips. I don't know, I don't think it's gonna make any difference, I hope. But now I should be able to get that on there. And there we go. And look at that, even the holes, I mean, I've heard some bad things about these Dorman parts, but you can see these holes, you can see that do line up. Actually, I think I put this in wrong. Sorry, it should be on the other side. I got this on the flip side. It should be going in like this. Maybe not. I actually did have it right. You know, I did have it right. I take that back. Sorry about that. Because you're protecting stuff from getting into the top. Anyway, get this in here. Sorry about my camera angle here as I try to work this in. There we go. So yeah, we got this in here, and looks like everything is lining up pretty good. All the screws. And I'm just gonna put this back on, put the screws in here. And it looks like we're good to go. I got my new dust shield down here. I'll go ahead and finish this off, and I'll post an update when I get that in there. I'll get my caliper. The rest is pretty standard, you know, put your caliper back on. I got it hanging over there. I gotta get some new pads. Obviously replace this rotor and this baby should be good to go. Um, Took me a few days. I just didn't know how to handle this thing, but I'm really happy that this solution seems to have worked. I don't think it's causing any issue by not having that part there. Just made it easier for me to get it in. And hopefully this helps others. Like I said, I didn't find a whole lot of information, many videos on how to do this, but hopefully it'll work for you. This is a Toyota, but I'm sure a similar solution will work for the other cars too. So hope this works. Let me know how it worked out for you in the comment section, and I'll post an update later when I get this whole thing back together.